Welcome everyone to Gamer Meld. Today kicks off Amazon's Prime Day and Newegg's Fantastic sales event. So I wanted to make sure that I got this out as quickly as I could, so I decided to go ahead and do it this way. And if you just want to see the links to those, I've got affiliate links in the description. They don't cost you anything more and it helps the channel out. Either way, I've got a lot of things to go over, starting with AMD's new GPU being sold to the DIY market. Windows 11 helps hybrid CPUs. I go over the best deals, and GPU prices continue to fall, but there's new shortages? Okay, it's news time, and first up for today, if you've been following the channel, you know that AMD's Radeon RX 6900 XT LC edition, which come to find out actually is made by AMD, so it is a reference card and it has faster memory, so it's a fairly interesting card. Either way, the one annoyance about it was that it's made specifically for system integrators. You can see right here, Tom's Hardware has a statement from AMD that says AMD will be making a limited number of 6900 XT liquid-cooled reference design graphics cards available to select system integrators. System integrators are a critical part of the gaming ecosystem. Anyway, basically, it's specifically made for system builders, so it's not something that at least should be available to the DIY market. With that said, it looks like at least 3 retailers located in India are selling the GPU by itself. Now, I will say that the price is very similar across these, so Video Cards thinks they may be under the same umbrella. Either way, they are unbelievably expensive. You can see right here that it goes for right around $3,007 US. So basically, if you're wanting this for a PC, I would personally suggest just buying the PC that comes with it. It's probably not all that much more expensive. Either way, it apparently is an option. As Video Card says, AMD has never said that system integrators exclusivity applies only to certain regions. I'm not sure exactly why this is happening. I'm not sure if they're literally, buying them specifically for PCs, but then selling them individually or what. But either way, it is actually available, at least in this market. And next up for today, we have a really interesting story. Now, for those who've been following the channel, you know that Intel's hybrid CPU architecture, Alder Lake, is set for release sometime this year, probably Q3 to Q4. Not only that, but we've also been seeing rumors that AMD's future Ryzen CPUs are set to have this same hybrid architecture. Now, for those who don't really know what I'm talking about, this architecture originally came from ARM with their big dot little design. And basically what that is, you have 2 different core types. You have the big core, which is your traditional core with fairly high frequencies and decent power draw. But then you have the little core, which essentially is a much more efficient CPU core that's made to handle your background tasks that you don't necessarily need high frequencies or anything like that to do perfectly well. So it ends up being great for certain things like mobile CPUs, just because it saves on battery, saves on efficiency, but we haven't really seen it in the desktop sphere, but clearly that's about to change. And because of all that, it looks like Windows 11, once again, if you haven't been following the channel, Windows 11 recently leaked. At least an older version of Windows 11 leaked, and it's pretty interesting because it is a full version. It is a little older, like I said, than the one that we're expecting to be released soon when Microsoft announces it, but it is the full operating system. And basically, as you can see, there is a fairly decent uplift in performance, specifically with these hybrid architectures. You can see right here that Hot Hardware actually tested Intel's own Lakefield, which is their big dot little core design, and it actually did get a decent uplift. You can see we have Geekbench 5, then we move down here to Browser Bench. It gets a fairly decent uplift in performance as well. Then whenever we move even to Cinebench, you can see specifically in the single core performance, it got an increase of around 8.2%. Obviously nothing huge, but remember that this is just a difference in the operating system. That's it. Overall, though, some of it, like this right here, isn't very much more performance at all, but once again, We're just talking the operating system, and this is an older version of Windows 11, so the newer one could be even better. Basically, Microsoft put in a bit of work to improve the scheduling on these hybrid-based CPUs, and I think that's going to be interesting to see how Ryzen will be able to compare to Intel's Alder Lake when that ends up coming out, because obviously Alder Lake would get a bit of a boost from this, while AMD would not, at least until they end up releasing their Ryzen CPUs with that hybrid design. Now, with all of that said, let's get into the PC hardware deals. Once again, all of these links are going to be down in the description, and I may have even more deals down there as well, so make sure to check those out. Starting things off, I will go ahead and say that CPU deals are really good this year, specifically when it comes to Intel. We can see right here that on Amazon, the Intel Core i7 10700KF is only $239. Remember, this is an 8-core Intel CPU, and of course, with it being the F moniker, that means it does not come with an integrated GPU, and because of the insane prices of GPUs right now, if you don't have one, the K model is, while a little bit more, still a great deal at $259. And next up, if you're wanting Intel's newest generation of CPUs, Rocket Lake, their 11900K is a little bit off right now, and you get a Death Stranding gaming bundle along with an Intel gift card with purchase. And next up, if you're on the AM4 platform, there is a little bit of a deal. Yes, I do know that we're currently on the 5000 series, so this is last generation Ryzen, but remember that this is a 12-core CPU, so it's still not a bad deal at all for $419.99. Moving away from CPUs, we have the Corsair Vengeance 16GB DDR4 at 3600 for just $84.99. I remember not long ago, 16 gigs was just astronomically priced, so pricing has obviously come down significantly since then, and if you use this promo code, you do get $3 more off. And next up, moving on to storage, we have some really good deals here. You can see we have 1TB WD Blue. This is their NVMe internal SSD, so it is a PCI Express SSD. 1TB, just $85. This bad boy gets up to 2400 megabytes per second read speed. If you're wanting to get something just a little bit faster, it's not too much more for Crucial's P5 1TB with a read speed of 3400 megabytes per second. It's currently just $91.19. Once again, really great deal there, but let's say 1TB isn't enough. Well, try 6 terabytes right now, over $100 off you can get. Now, this isn't an SSD, but it is a fairly fast 7200 RPM SATA HDD, 6 terabytes for just $141. Really good deal there, I have to say, but let's say you don't need really anywhere near that amount. Why don't you try Seagate's laptop? Now, once again, this is for a notebook, but it's 500 gigabytes for just $33. Next up, if you're one of those who's having such a hard time getting a new GPU, this may be a fairly decent option for you. I believe that this is, we can actually see, it was originally $1,079.99, but now it is, we have to see the price in cart. You can see $849.99. Pretty big drop in price, and it does come with the GTX 1650, which obviously that isn't that great of a GPU, but considering the 1650 not too long ago was probably selling for like $400 or $500, I think it still is around like $350 right now. $850 in a notebook really isn't bad. And if you don't need that, but you do need a new monitor, we have the Acer 27-inch with 1 millisecond, I believe it is a VA panel, yep, VA panel, 1 millisecond response time, 1080p, but 240 hertz adaptive sync monitor, $100 off, making it just $200. Moving on, we actually have a tempered glass case for just $40. Tempered glass cases used to be really high-end, really expensive cases, but right now you can see just $38. Next up, Cooler Masters rated gold PSU 750 watts, $90, $25 off. I do know PSUs are pretty ridiculously priced right now, but this certainly isn't too bad for a 750 watt gold rated PSU. Next up, if you're looking for now keep in mind this is a B550M, but it is a little bit off if you're looking for a new AM4 board at just $89.99. Next, we have the Logitech G432. Logitech makes some great headphones, and these right here are $42 off, making them just $37.99. And next up, this is actually what I have right here. Really love Logitech mouses. The Logitech G502 is $42 off, making it $37.99. Fantastic buy, fantastic mouse. If you're looking for a new mouse, you can't really get a better deal than that. Unless you like Razer, because right now their Razer Death Adder, I don't believe it's been selling for $50 for quite a while, but it's even cheap. I think it was like $35 or something, but it's even cheaper now, down to $19.99. This is one of the most popular mice out there, period. I will say that I personally have some issues with with these little rubber pieces right here. What they'll do is, I don't know if it's something in like my sweat or what, but they basically start peeling really, really fast. We're talking just a few weeks. I believe both sides of the one that I own have begun peeling off. So that's just me though. I know a ton of people do not have that issue. Really well loved mouse. I do say it feels really good, except for that one issue that I've had, but I just thought I'd point that out. So yeah, if you're interested in any of those, make sure to check that out in the description below. Anyway, moving on, we have a really interesting story from 3dcenter.org. If you've been following the channel, you know that there is a recent trend of GPU pricing going down by quite a bit. And this just gives it a really good kind of image of just how big of a difference we're talking. Yes, GPU prices are still ridiculously high right now, but the simple fact is that they are very much trending down. You can see right here that at the peak not long ago, we're talking just May 16th, NVIDIA GPUs were up by as much as 304%. Since then, until June 20th, they are down to only being up 191%. Of course, that's, still 191% up. But at the same time, that's a massive drop off. And it's really one of the first times in a long time that we've seen a drop off, much less anything big like this. Either way, that's gone down. Then AMD, you can see that it did significantly go down as well, but it has taken a slight uptick. I do believe that these are German MSRP, but at the same time, like I said before, we are seeing this kind of in quite a bit of different places. But either way, overall, it is an absolute trend down. And one of the reasons for that could be, or at least seems to be, because of the crypto mining market. You can see right here that China has really been cracking down on their crypto mining operations. You can see right here that the People's Bank of China released a statement that basically completely bashed cryptocurrency. It said that basically it breeds the risk of illegal and criminal activities, cross-border asset transfer, money laundering, things like that. And simply put, China is seriously cracking down on crypto mining operations. Or at least that's how things are going, and that will obviously have a pretty big impact on the GPU market. Specifically, tons of GPUs could begin flooding into the used market, which would obviously make prices just flat plummet. With that said, there is some really bad news that comes from Igor's lab. As you can see here, there's actually been a new outbreak of coronavirus in the southern Chinese province of Guangdong, and because of the subsequent, everything being shut down, stuff like that, there's a massive backlog. From what I read from another place, most of the ports out here are now running at, I believe, half capacity. Actually, it says it right here. They're currently only half capacity just because of the restrictions put on due to the coronavirus outbreak. Either way, this has put a massive backlog of 4 major ports from China. So pretty much anything leaving or going into China is being pushed back right now. And I personally believe, and I do believe that Igor thinks so as well, this is going to have a really big impact and could cause yet more shortages on more PC components, except this could be even more reaching. We're talking, CPUs, GPUs, motherboards, anything. So yet more crud. It seems like as soon as we have something good happen, like, oh yay, downtrend, something terrible happens that at least could potentially move everything back. So yeah. While that does it for today, I do apologize at how long of a video this was, but I did have quite a bit of things to cover. With that said, what do you think about these shortages? Do you think cryptocurrency is going to go down more and more? That's going to lead to a massive influx in GPUs into the used market and will lower prices? Or do you think that this issue at the Chinese ports are going to basically push everything back even further? Let me know down in the comments below. And of course, with that said, I will say that there are some great deals, so you probably want to scoop those up pretty quickly just in case these shortages do come. Either way, if you liked the video, please subscribe. And as always, have a great day.